All right, you sneaky bastards, buckle up. Because today, we're diving headfirst into the world of industrial espionage.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Right.
the real-life spies,
Yeah.
the motherfuckers stealing secrets that can make or break companies,
Right.
maybe even whole damn countries.
Forget James Bond.
Right.
This shit is the real deal where information is the weapon and the battlefield is the global market.
We've got a mountain of intel for you, the history, the famous fuck-ups,
Yeah.
and how the internet has turned this whole game on its head. Trust me, some of this shit is wilder than a weekend in Vegas.
We're going to break it all down for you. What industrial espionage really is, why you should give a damn, and how this shady world operates.
So let's cut the crap.
Yeah.
What exactly is industrial espionage? Is it just some dude in a trench coat stealing stapler designs?
It's a hell of a lot more than that. Industrial espionage is all about getting a goddamn leg up in the business world, stealing information, sabotaging your competitors, doing whatever it takes to win. And it's happening everywhere with companies and even governments trying to screw each other over.
So it's like corporate warfare, but with sneakier weapons.
Exactly. And the stakes are high.
Yeah.
We're talking billions of dollars,
Wow.
cutting-edge technology, and the power to control entire industries.
You know, this whole spying thing isn't new. We dug up this crazy story about a priest, Father Francois Xavier d'Entrecaul,
Right.
who basically stole the secrets of Chinese porcelain back in 1712. Talk about holy shit.
That's a classic example. During the early Industrial Revolution,
Yeah.
countries were obsessed with stealing industrial secrets. They knew that whoever had the best tech would dominate the market.
And it wasn't just the Chinese getting ripped off, right? Weren't countries like Britain and France constantly at each other's throats,
Oh, yeah.
trying to steal industrial secrets?
Absolutely. It was a total free-for-all. And get this, even the good old USA was in on the action. Back in the day, they actually encouraged intellectual piracy to catch up with Europe.
No way.
They straight up incentivized people to bring over improvements and secrets of extraordinary value from Europe. Can you believe that shit?
Sounds like the Americans were playing dirty from the start. But let's fast forward to the 20th century.
Okay.
Shit got real during the Cold War with the Soviet Union and their whole Spetsinformatia system. Weren't they notorious for stealing Western tech?
The Cold War was like espionage 101.
Right.
The Soviets were masters at stealing secrets, both political and industrial. Their Spetsinformatia system was this massive intelligence gathering operation, and they managed to swipe a ton of valuable tech from the West.
But here's the funny part. Even though they stole a shit ton of information, their civilian industries were still crap.
Yeah.
Just all the blueprints in the world can't make up for shitty manufacturing.
That's the thing. Stealing information is only half the battle. You have to know how to use it effectively, and the Soviets weren't so great at that. But what's interesting is how those Cold War spying tactics have trickled down to the corporate world. We're talking databases, scanners, satellites, the whole 9 yards.
And then came the internet, making stealing information easier than ordering a pizza.
The digital age has been a total game changer for industrial espionage. With computers and the internet, the amount of information available and the ease of access exploded. It's like everyone left the vault door wide open.
Yeah, we read about dumpster diving, where spies literally go through company trash to find discarded documents.
Right.
And laptops. They're like gold mines for these guys.
Yeah.
What other crazy shit are these spies up to these days?
Dumpster diving and stolen laptops are amateur hour compared to what's happening now. Modern espionage uses malware, spyware, and even cell phone cameras to steal information. Think about it. Your phone is basically a portable spying device.
Holy shit, so anyone could be watching us right now through our phones. That's some Black Mirror shit right there.
It's not that far-fetched. But it's not just about stealing information from individuals. These attacks can target entire companies, even critical infrastructure like power grids. Remember the 2007 cyber attack on Estonia? That was a wake-up call showing how vulnerable our digital world really is.
All right, let's get to the good stuff. We've got some seriously fucked up cases to unpack, stories that'll make you wonder if anyone can be trusted.
Oh, absolutely. We've got tales of corporate backstabbing, government-sponsored hacking, and straight-up theft that'll leave you wondering who the real bad guys are.
Let's kick things off with a story that'll have you craving a cup of tea. Remember the British East India Company? Turns out those guys were the original corporate spies stealing China's tea secrets back in the 1800s.
They were ruthless. Back then, China had a global monopoly on tea production. But the Brits were pissed off about their massive trade deficit. They were importing tons of tea from China and not selling enough back. So they decided to steal China's secrets and grow their own.
Wait, so they sent in some dude to steal tea leaves? Sounds kind of low-tech for a company that ruled half the world.
They sent in a Scottish botanist named Robert Fortune, who disguised himself as a Chinese nobleman and snuck into tea-making facilities. He documented their processes, smuggled tea plants back to British-controlled India, and basically single-handedly ended China's tea monopoly.
Damn, that's some badass botanical espionage right there. What did the Chinese do about it?
Not a whole lot they could do. The Brits took that stolen knowledge and created massive tea plantations in India. They flooded the market with cheap tea, undercut the Chinese, and completely changed the global tea trade.
Talk about a hostile takeover. Okay, so the Brits were dicks. But hold on, we found another case that's even more fucked up. Volkswagen versus General Motors, millions of dollars, stolen documents, and straight-up corporate betrayal. Tell us everything.
This one's a classic case of corporate backstabbing. In the 1990s, a top executive from General Motors named Jose Ignacio Lopez defected to Volkswagen, and he didn't go empty-handed. He was accused of taking a shit ton of confidential documents with him, production plans, cost analyses, supplier lists, basically everything GM held dear.
So this guy was like a corporate double agent. What a snake.
General Motors was furious. They sued the hell out of Volkswagen, and it ended up being one of the biggest industrial espionage settlements in history. Volkswagen had to cough up $100 million to GM and buy $1 billion worth of their parts.
Talk about adding insult to injury. But this whole thing makes you wonder, where's the line between legal competitive intelligence and straight-up spying?
That's where things get blurry. Competitive intelligence is all about using public information, company websites, patent filings, industry reports to understand your competitors. It's perfectly legal and ethical.
So reading your competitor's website is okay, but breaking into their office and stealing their files is not.
Exactly. Industrial espionage crosses the line into theft, hacking, and sabotage. It's about obtaining information illegally, whether through human spies, digital attacks, or whatever shady tactics they can dream up.
Okay, speaking of shady tactics, let's talk about Google and Operation Aurora. This one allegedly involves the Chinese government, and it gets pretty damn scary.
This case takes us deep into the digital age of espionage. In 2010, Google announced that they'd been hit by a sophisticated cyber attack that originated in China. The hackers had stolen intellectual property and accessed the email accounts of human rights activists.
Wait, so they were spying on activists too? What the fuck?
It was a huge scandal. The attack, which was part of a broader operation called Operation Aurora, targeted dozens of companies, including defense contractors, finance giants, and tech companies.
Sounds like the Chinese were trying to steal anything they could get their hands on. Did they ever catch the bastards responsible?
Attributing cyber attacks is incredibly difficult. It's hard to definitively prove who's behind them, but security experts believe that Operation Aurora was a state-sponsored attack, most likely by the Chinese government.
Damn. So even Google, with all their security measures, got hacked by the Chinese government. What chance do the rest of us have?
It's a sobering reminder that in the digital age, no one is truly safe. Even the most secure systems can be compromised.
So what happened after the Google hack? Did they just roll over and let the Chinese keep stealing from them?
Google decided to fight back. They stopped censoring their search results in China, which pissed off the Chinese government and eventually led to Google shutting down their Chinese operations.
So they basically told the Chinese government to go fuck themselves. That's pretty badass.
It was a bold move that cost them billions of dollars, but it also sent a message that they weren't going to tolerate industrial espionage, even from a powerful government like China.
Okay, we've talked about tea thieves, corporate backstabbers, and government-sponsored hacking. Is any information truly safe in this day and age?
That's the million-dollar question. In this hyper-connected world where everything is digital, it's incredibly difficult to keep information secure. There are always vulnerabilities to exploit, and there are always people looking to exploit them.
Fuck. So what can companies do to protect themselves from these digital spies? Should they just unplug everything and go back to using carrier pigeons?
It's not that simple. Companies need to invest in robust cybersecurity measures, train their employees to spot phishing scams and social engineering tactics, and be proactive about monitoring their networks for suspicious activity. It's a constant cat-and-mouse game trying to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
So basically it's an arms race between the spies and the cybersecurity guys. Who's winning?
It's hard to say. The bad guys are constantly coming up with new ways to attack, and the good guys are constantly trying to catch up. But one thing's for sure. The stakes are higher than ever.
All right, before we wrap things up, we need to talk about one last case. This one really blurs the lines between competitive intelligence and industrial espionage, and it raises some serious ethical questions. This one's about a software engineer named Dongxiao Yu.
Okay.
And a company called Cordiant Software.
Right.
Sounds boring as hell, but
Right.
trust me, this shit gets real.
This case is a perfect example of how the lines between competitive intelligence and outright theft can get blurred. Dong Xiaoyu developed some seriously groundbreaking software, and he accused Cordiant of stealing his work and using it in their own products.
So it's like plagiarism, but for tech.
Exactly. Instead of copying words, they allegedly stole his code, his ideas, his entire intellectual property.
What a bunch of scumbags. Did this guy get any justice?
He took Cordiant to court,
Yeah.
and a jury actually found them guilty of stealing his technology and profiting from it.
Damn. So sometimes the good guys do win. But this makes you wonder, how often does this kind of shit go undetected? How many companies are getting away with stealing other people's work?
It happens more than you think. Industrial espionage is a crime that's often hidden in plain sight, especially in the digital world. It can be really hard to prove who stole what, and a lot of companies would rather settle quietly than risk a public scandal.
So what does all this mean for us regular folks?
Mhm.
We're not exactly carrying around top-secret government blueprints or anything.
Here's the thing. In the digital age, everyone's information is valuable. Your personal data, your online activity, your financial records, it's all a potential target for spies, both corporate and governmental.
Fuck. So we're all screwed. Should we all just go off the grid, live in a bunker?
It's not about being paranoid. It's about being aware. Use strong passwords. Be careful about what information you share online and keep your software updated. And stay informed. The more you know about how these spies operate, the better you can protect yourself.
So basically, we all need to become cybersecurity ninjas.
Think of it more like being a savvy internet user. Don't click on suspicious links. Be wary of phishing scams, and if something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
All right, folks, there you have it. A crash course in the wild world of industrial espionage. We've covered everything from 18th century tea heists to 21st century cyber attacks.
We've seen how companies and governments will stop at nothing to get ahead, how the digital age has revolutionized the game, and how even the most secure systems are vulnerable.
And one last thought to leave you with. In this age of constant connectivity where every click and swipe is tracked, what does privacy even mean anymore?
That, my friend, is a question we all need to be asking. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay safe out there.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive. Until next time, stay sneaky.